Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Dancing with Replicants. This is a Blade Runner game on Garblag Games, and I am the game runner, as I'm called in this. I'm Andy. Let me introduce you to my players. Let's start with Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave. I am playing Detective Reid Wildner, who is a human city speaker.
Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm playing Maximillian Falk, who is a human skimmer.
Unfortunately, Rick can't be with us tonight because of real life commitments. So let's go to Javier.
Hi, I'm Javier, and I'm playing Miles Dallas, a replicant analyst.
Okay, thanks for that. Right, so just to recap, you have been investigating the murders of 3 replicants. It seems, I don't know, it seems from the evidence so far that one was the target, who was a Nexus 9 replicant called Anton, and the other 2 potentially were just killed in the crossfire. Not entirely certain on that yet. What you've traced back is that Anton was being tortured by certainly someone from the security arm of a corporation called Takach BioWare. He was being tortured for the location of a particular item, which on the video you've seen says a disc. He did not divulge the location before he was executed in a firefight that broke out when some people, including certainly 2 replicants that also died, attempted to interrupt the torture that was going on. All hell broke loose, and military grade weapons firing, and also the use of smoke grenades and things like that. Sort of almost a little shortly after that, the Anton works at the Markova Ballroom, which is a high class dance studio, sort of a bit of a sort of Dancing with the Stars or Strictly Come Dancing type setup. Though with the added bonus for those that are wishing to pay, that the replicant dancers are available for hire overnight for the fairly obvious purposes. Anton worked there, and also another replicant there called Gabor, who, from what you've been told, was definitely a friend of Anton's. She appears to have freaked out at some point and punched one of the singers there, who was called Ariana Jiong, and Gabor has then fled into the night in literally her dance costume, including extremely high heels and a very quite sizable all-covering coat, at least. Falk was the main person, I think, interviewing Aran Jiang, and then you released. She just wanted to go home after being assaulted. You felt there was something fishy about her. You planted a tracking device on her, and also wanted a trace put on the taxi that picked her up. You discovered that the taxi picked her up, took her a few blocks away, and then dropped her at ground level, which is very much sort of very much the sort of street poor end of society now, because the way it works is those that could afford to live on the tops of buildings or further up the the various high rises scattered around LA. You still got the trace going on her. We'll come to an update on that in a sec. To obtain the full footage, Wildner and Barimen had gone to Anemoid Row to find the investigative journalist who was called Evie Chakrabarti, who supplied the footage or an edited version of it to various news corporations, where it very much portrayed the assault as the torture and murder of a replicant. And the TV stations are all jumping to the this is anti-replicant activity. Okay. Though you have now seen the full version of the video, and it appears to be far more complicated than that. You got a question?
Apologies, I'm not entirely convinced we're actually recording. Normally, there's an icon at the top left that says we're recording.
It says we're recording.
Okay, as long as it's not saying on yours, that's fine.
It is.
I'm usually saying popping up and saying you are being recorded. Are you okay with this?
It does it in. That's because we're using Zoom, not Discord.
Oh no, it normally does it on Zoom.
Does it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
unless they've updated it since. But carry on. No problems.
I'll explain to you later how I grab the thing. But yeah, okay, no worries. Okay. Good check though. Good check. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. So yes. So the video showed something slightly more. I don't know if sinister is the right word, but certainly some sort of corporate espionage or something like that going on. Not entirely certain. Because that's also been combined with the fact that Dallas had found listening devices in Anton's bedroom in the Markover ballroom, as well as some form of, certainly an earpiece that was a receive only, suggesting that someone would be receiving instructions or something like that, and then what was being said or so on was being recorded. Just to be clear, those recording devices were audio only. Yeah. And therefore really quite miniature and quite well hidden. There was also a drug present, which seems to be some kind of, from your analysis, some kind of derivative of scopolamine. So it's designed to prompt people to be truthful in answering questions. But it seemed, from your analysis of it, to have additional capabilities to destroy short-term memories. So it might well be that someone has been interrogated but does not remember it. Okay. Sorry, that was the other thing, just thinking about with retrieving the video. It appears that, certainly a man who has been seen acting suspiciously at the site of the murder at the abandoned mall. He has reappeared when you've met Evie Chakrabarti.
And there was a suspicion that he's the one who recorded the video.
Yeah,
right?
There's a suspicion of that. There's also some. You've also worked out that the video was probably recorded by some kind of, probably a spider drone that had crept through a broken air brick. Quite a small device, but therefore quite well concealed. Okay. And I think lastly, Falk, where we left it. So we left it, Dallas was in the lab, and I think you still had more analysis to do in the lab. So we'll come to you about that in a minute.
I had a couple of things left.
Yeah. Wildner and Barimen had finished up. So I'll come to you in a minute about what you're going to do. But I think where I got to was Falk had gone to I've forgotten the name of the bar. Roxy's. Yes, Roxy's Bar and Strip Club, which is this. Located near Anemoid Row. And just for anyone who doesn't know, Anemoid Row is where lots and lots of replicant animals are for sale. Because even real animals are quite highly prized and valuable possessions these days. So Falk had gone there, and he'd gone there because one of the dead Nexus 8 replicants who'd been found at the site had a sort of cigarette what do you call it? Not cigarette box. What do you call them? The cigarette.
Yeah, like a matchbox.
Yeah, cigarette.
Box, yeah.
There's a match. Oh my God.
Matchbox. Yeah.
Yeah,
Matchbook.
matchbook. That's what I mean. That's the
Oh.
phrase, matchbook, because it's the ones you tear out. He
Ah,
had one.
right.
Yeah, he had one of those in his pocket with Roxy's strip club logos on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start with Falk. Okay. So you go to Roxy's. It's quite a fairly low rent, low class looking joint. There is it's ground level, not far from Animoid Row. As you walk in, it's a bar with a sort of what do you call it? I suppose a dance floor with a lap dancing pole and a stage with sort of leading out to there from a shielded area. But there's also a couple of booth seating areas. There's a pool table. There's a bar you can sit at. So though it's got, though it is a strip club, it's not purely a strip club. Yeah, there are people in here who are, I'm assuming you're going in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, what's your connections level?
D12. No, I am A on connections.
You've got A. Yep. Okay. So so you know this place. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You have been here before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a tab.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's also like a couple of arcade machines. In fact, I'm just going to show you a little map of it. Okay, does that come up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me just pick the right mouse.
So just to be clear, the you don't know the back areas, but yeah, you get the idea. Okay, and now I think it's really quite late at night. It's about 12:30 at night. Does that sound
Yeah.
about right?
I think it was latest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the place is fairly full. It's a Saturday night. It's pretty full. There is a sort of security, a couple of security bouncers on the door. But now, Falk, how is Falk dressed? Like you are now?
Largely a trench coat that looks like it should be grubby but isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, pretty much probably have a hat on as well. Like,
Yeah.
as
in
Phoebe could, I have.
as in the photo, as in
Yeah.
your And do you think that people here know you are a Blade Runner or a cop?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not. I don't hide. No.
Okay. So the bouncers nod at you and let you in. And what is your? Oh, I need. What is your observation, please?
Observation is B.
Okay. The guy's not being subtle about it, so you automatically notice this with the B. As you wander in and you've sort of gone past him, you sort of half hear, because it's noisy in here. You hear you more catch out the corner of your eye the guy reaching to a sort of an earpiece, and then speaking into some sort of microphone. That Blade Runner Falk's just walked in.
They don't like you. They know you, but they don't like you.
Okay.
I spent a lot of money in here. They bloody well better like me.
They like your money, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And the place is full of fairly full of people. There's one girl dancing, another girl striding up and down the walkway bit. There's guys playing pool. There's people here watching this screen. There's a couple of people on the arcade machines here. You can see people chatting and drinking over here. There's people sat at the bar. There's also other people standing by the bar. So sort of there's people standing in lots of the open areas. It's quite full, and yeah, there's also people sat in here, but that's a little harder to see. Yeah. What do you want to do?
I will wander in, go to where I normally would sit, assuming it's free. If it's not, I find somewhere to park myself.
There are no seats free. Sorry, none of these red stalls. None of these stalls are free.
Okay.
You can try and squeeze in one of the three sort of booth areas if you wish, or you can go to stand by the bar or somewhere else.
I think I'll go to the bar. I'll get myself a drink. Head up the bar. You all right, Joni? Whiskey, please.
Yep, sure. And the guy looks and goes, 2 ice cubes, is it?
No ice cubes. I don't want to ameliorate my booze.
Okay. Don't give me grief, man. Don't give me grief. Okay. But he produces your drink and gets you a fresh glass that not the one you just put 2 ice cubes in, and hands that over.
Thank you. Busy in here tonight.
It's Saturday. A lot of people have got money to spend, so we'll help them spend it.
Oh yeah. Anyone on the? I gesture to the dancing stage. Anyone on? I know.
Just the usuals. There's a new guy dancing soon, I think. If that floats your boat.
I see some of your advertising out and about in the world. I was in the middle of doing something and I came across this and I pulled out the matchbook. So you're doing a roaring trade with those, I see.
Yeah, they're from one of the vending machines, and he points over, and you know there's this here, and this here, and this here are all vending machines selling cigarettes and books of matches.
Out of interest, and I pull out my Kia and pull up a picture of Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy a regular?
Right. Can you give me, please, a manipulation check?
I most certainly can.
Regular, no, but I've seen him in here a number of times.
Cool. Recently?
Yeah, over the last few weeks.
Did he sort of spend time with any people, or just here on his own?
Yeah, he's with other people.
Is your CCTV camera setup still up to spec?
Yeah.
I lean forward, sort of moving my now empty glass toward him, with gesturing, sort of a definite gesture for another drink.
Yep.
And then when I pay, I add an extra chinion in.
Okay.
In a definite inference towards I'd like to actually have access to that.
Okay. Right. He. Yeah. Okay. Hang on a sec. And he calls across one of the bar staff who's wandering around collecting glasses and stuff like that, and says, "Take over at the bar for the moment." And then he leads you round through this door here that's marked private, and then into this room here. And says, "Sure, help yourself." And well, first of all, he calls up his security footage, but for a Chinian, that's for 1 Chinian point, you mean, don't you? Not one,
Yeah.
1 Chinian
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Which he's quite happy to take that bribe, because you could just produce warrants and stuff like that to get access. So he's merely happy to expedite the process for a little bit of money in his pocket. Sorry, apologies. That door is not marked private because that actually leads to the toilets. This door is marked private though. And he says, "Help yourself there."
Thank you very much.
And he frankly leaves you to it.
Yeah, no problem. They know me here. I
Mhm.
I can quite easily dangle the carrot or the stick because they know if any replicants that they have, I will be checking their paperwork and all those details forensically if they cause me shit.
Yep.
So no problem. I start digging through and looking for any sign of this Darius chappie.
Right. So, sorry, I've just had an absolute mess up on the Zoom. Okay. Right. So, give me an observation check, please. Actually, sorry, it would be your choice of observation or tech check.
I've already clicked the button.
Okay.
So I will.
Decidedly.
Yeah, it's done. I'll push. For no benefit from literally the same.
One success. So you find some footage 3 days ago of Darius in here, with several other faces, which he does appear to be in a group of 4.
No problem.
And
I take stills of them.
yep, one of them is quite distinctive, and you recognise him. It is this guy who you've already had some.
Yeah, Mikey.
Mikey.
Yep.
No
Okay.
problems.
And then going back further, you find a number of other instances where Darius is in there at various points. Sometimes with Mike and the other 2, sometimes with only some of them. Then it's not always the 4 of them, always, but it's never more than those 4 together, and it's never any others besides those members of those 4, if you sort of mean.
No problem. Do I see any when he's interacting with any of the staff? Are there any of the staff he seems to be particularly friendly with? And I don't mean just being familiar or chatting up some of the bar staff. I mean, as in, seem to be some kind of more involved relationship, friendship, or whatever.
No, he doesn't. No, he does appear to be fair. They're almost sort of trying to stay uninvolved. They buy drinks. They don't engage people. They don't, as you watch, they don't really watch the girls. They tend to play pool. And when there's the 4 of them, they play doubles pool. And They have a few drinks. They don't get particularly drunk. They seem to be relaxing without letting themselves take any risks and get out of control.
Yeah. So I'll spend a bit of time going through, looking for the individuals on their own, so see if they turn up in other situations, and sort of digging to see if there's anything I can see within like a reasonable period of time then with them being in there. If there's anything I might be able to investigate a bit more closely. So, for example, if they're the only people who use a particular pool table, then there might be DNA on a pool cue or equivalent. You know, that sort of thing.
I get you mean. You find several other instances of the other people. Once again, the pattern seems to be there's sort of some or all of them there. They don't ever appear to be with anyone else. As you observe it more, you would say that the sort of leader of this little group is Mikey. As I say, they tend to play pool, but then other people play pool. There's you see Darius buy cigarettes and and matchbooks from the vending machine right next to the pool table. They don't appear to do anything else untoward or notable. They seem to be relaxing, but potentially quite slightly boring. Yeah, they don't. There's no wild partying. They're drinking beer. They're not drinking any shots or spirits at all. They tend to come in erratic evenings. There's no pattern in the evenings, but they tend to come in the evenings for a couple of hours, about 7, 8 o'clock. They tend to be wearing sort of work coveralls, and they look a little sweat stained and a little dirty, but not grubby. They're not doing some job that is getting their clothing filthy.
Any company logos in the?
No.
So unregistered, it's replicant. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
one last thing, and then obviously if you need to move, you can move on to the other guys. But because I don't want to take too much time more than one go. When they leave, specifically Mikey, but others, if I can see it, do they appear to just leave, or do they call for taxis or the equivalent thereof, or seem to go?
No, they right. So there's that is a phone. That is a phone. Yeah. They don't, because it's video phones. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't ever seem to make any phone calls, and when they leave, they don't tend to leave in dribs and drabs. They might arrive in dribs and drabs, but they tend to leave as a group.
Yeah.
And they appear to leave through the main doors here with nothing, no attempts to contact taxi or anything like that or anything. They just seem to exit and then make their way.
Do we have the time? I guess.
Yeah, they tend to be leaving at about 11-ish, roughly, give or take 15, 20 minutes either side.
Yeah, we can try to find cameras outside and track them, right?
Except
time and a place.
On this sort of level, it's. Yeah. I mean, this place is fair. This place has cameras, but most of the establishments around here don't have cameras on ground level.
Okay,
and
makes sense.
A lot of the street cameras, if they do exist, are generally vandalized.
Yeah.
No worries. I'll upload as many relevant bits onto the Kia, and then I'll have a think in the meantime as to what my next move is.
Okay, so I just need to make a note of something. Just bear me a sec. Right. Dallas, what were you doing? You've been working your way through all the various things in your lab. What else have you got that you want to investigate?
The serial numbers of the listening devices, they looked really advanced. I wanted to know the origins of that. I also want to know the whereabouts of Avril Desai, or
Okay.
Desai, or whatever.
Yep. Okay. So, right. The serial numbers of the listening devices. Can you please give me now? What would it be to investigate this? I think that will probably be a tech roll. You can't actually push that. Well, sorry, you could try and re-roll the 8 to try and get a 10 or higher.
Yeah, no, but then I take 1 point of stress, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Which is not good for you as
Obviously,
a
yeah.
replicant.
No, I've got like 3 of them, so
Yeah.
I need to save them.
Okay. So, okay. With the serial numbers, you try and trace those down as much as possible. They are not. What you're able to work out is that they have. There is no record of them being sold, which indicates to you that they were probably purchased off-world and brought on planet by someone else. By someone. But they're
Okay.
not. They've not been purchased on Earth.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, Avril Desai.
Yes.
So just to give me right, what do you want to try and figure out about her?
Where she lives. Any information we may have in the system about her.
Yeah, there's Avril. So give me this would be right. I think this will still be a tech check again for just seeing what records are held on her.
Also, I maybe check the news. Anything that might give me a hint of what kind of work she's doing in
Okay.
in
That
Kakash.
okay. Okay. As in, when you say check the news, you mean as in doing sort of like a search of business news to see if she's mentioned in it.
Yeah, like and science literature, like journals and all of that. See if she's published in.
Okay. Give me a tech check then, please.
Okay, I'm gonna push that too. All right.
Okay. Right. You are from her ID records, because there's a central database of IDs. You're able to trace down where she's living, which I need to look up in a sec. But you've got a home address for her. You also, but it will be in some kind of secure corporate compound, gated community type thing. She has some degree of presence in scientific journals. She's clearly quite very clever, very highly respected. She is, as you know, she's a bioengineer. Exactly what she's been working on for the last few years, there appears to be some not quite necessarily secrecy, but it's clearly not being discussed in what you've managed to find out so far, what she's working on.
Like she's drop off the.
Yeah, to almost sort of disappear off scientific discussions of the last few years.
And what was she doing before disappearing?
So she was doing stuff related with recycling of chemicals.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I had anything else to look into.
Did you ever? I'm trying to remember. Did you guys ever piece together all the footage from the tops of the 3 towers?
No,
I don't think
was,
we did. Right, that was the
yeah. I got the tapes, so to speak,
Yes.
for Miles to have a look at.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and that was the last part. Yes.
yeah, give me another tech check for that lot then, please. Piecing all that together.
Yeah.
Okay. So with this, the 3 successes. Okay. You trace right. You spot on the footage a vehicle that fits the sort of estimated size description you had from Wildner as some sort of skimmer type van, a larger vehicle designed to carry multiple people, and you're able to pick it up, leaving it at the sort of time that seemed to correspond with the sequence of events, and it exits and then actually fairly rapidly leaves the view because it's traveling at a reasonable speed. It moves up high and then travels fairly quickly for several blocks. And actually, what you're able to switch from is the footage from the security cameras for those blocks to actual the general city. I forgot the name for it. What's the city video security camera footage?
Esper?
Yeah.
No.
To the Esper cameras. That's it. You flip to the Esper cameras and start following it on there with that number of successes, and you can trace it down. Trace it to where it goes to now. Let us move to. We are in. Is it sector 4 as the entertainment sector? Have I got that right, or is it? No, that's the industrial sector. I want the entertainment sector, which I think is then. Is that? Oh, my brain's gone. What sector is it? Is it sector 9? Commercial? No, I will get the right one in a minute.
Central?
Not central.
Arts.
Not arts.
You're in the whole place.
Entertainment. Right.
There you go. Sector 1.
Okay, so hang on a sec. I've got me sectors confused here. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Apologies. Referee malfunction. I forgot. Fashion district, not entertainment district. And
that's back where we were, isn't it, Ren? Towers?
Sorry, no, I'm
Fashion?
just.
No, that wasn't Fashions.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah, Fashion District was the Calabria Tower, etc., wasn't it?
Yeah, so Fashion District is. It's the commercial sector 9. Sorry, apologies. Right, so. Have I just
Calling them
moved?
out, not been hearing me because I've been on mute.
Oh, sorry, you've been telling us. So, right.
Yeah.
Right. So there is the Markover Ballroom.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And what they do is they actually head fairly straight north, and then land somewhere up here by this slightly open park here. Okay. Now, the one thing that you so the bug that Falk planted on Ariana's young, that's linked up. The feed for that is giving is linked up to the keys, isn't it? So that's not knowledge for you. That's knowledge for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dallas is also spots that that appears to be where Jiong has gone to. So just sort of filling in a bit of blanks with Jiong. So she was sort of allowed to leave the Markover Ballroom, went about 6 blocks in the taxi, went to ground level, um, uh, um, uh, so the sort of skimmer taxi that picked her up left. She's then, from the pace she was going, probably walked 6 blocks, and then she then appears to have got into, from the way it's travelling, probably a ground vehicle taxi, or sorry, some sort of ground vehicle. You don't know if it's a taxi or not, which has then driven her to pretty well this same location up here.
I will let the others know
Mhm.
that this coincidence.
Okay.
Sure, there's nothing to it.
No such thing as coincidence.
Okay. Now, which was the industrial sector?
6.
6.
Or was it 4?
No.
I can't remember.
4.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's 4. So let's move over that. Right.
Memory test. I
4.
didn't know there was going to be
Yeah.
a memory test.
You beat me to it.
Now, right. The Desai's home is in down. It's sorry, it's near this junction here. This and this, is quite a it's tower blocks, but it's quite upmarket tower blocks and so on. But that's where her home is. Okay. And Takesh Biotech has a number of production facilities scattered around this southern part of this sector. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What do you wish? So actually, I'm going to cut to Wildner a sec. Well, you think there's anything further Dallas wants to do?
So,
What is?
I mean, it's
Gone.
Yeah, it's too late to go visit Desai at this point, probably. So I'm gonna grab my coat, jump into my car, and drive to the park where these guys, where everyone seems to be going.
Okay. What is Wildner doing?
So I was originally going to go sort of walking the streets, reaching out to my street level contacts sort of thing. And then we got sidetracked to the trying to get the footage.
Yep.
From an Animoid Row. So I'm not sure how much I can get away with on one shift.
What do you want to do with street contacts and stuff and so on?
Basically, I'm going to try to see if there's any rumours, scuttlebutt on any activity particularly related to equality or Takachi, what are they called?
Takachi.
Takach. And has anyone sort of heard rumours about something going down? Effectively, the hit. Basically, if there's any sort of connections I can make between some of the stuff we've seen already and
right,
any sort of what's the news on the streets.
Okay. There is an important thing with shifts here, so I will allow you to do this shift, but just thinking about it, Dallas going to where you're going, that's going to be start of another shift. So okay, because it will take you some time to do all this tracing down in and so on. So that you're getting to the stage.
That would be our third.
Yeah.
But we started late in the day as such. We started in the early evening. So I'll let you do a third shift. Yeah. Okay. Right. What? Right. Sorry, brain work. With Wildner, please can you give me a connections check?
Yep. I don't think that's worth pushing.
Okay. Right. So, street level contacts. There's not really any mention of Takach, BioWare, or
no. I think that was his long shot.
Yeah. What there is lots of discussions about what appears to have been a murder of some replicants and the rumor that is circulating is that an organization called the Blackout Vanguard Militia, which is a human supremacy movement, an anti-replicant movement, are the people that were that attacked and killed some replicants. Now, give me what is your connections rating?
I have a C in connections.
Right. Give me a connections check again, then, please.
Okay. Ooh, not so good.
You're going to push that?
Yeah, I'll push that one. I was going to do both dice, I think. Get it up to one, at least.
Right. You unfortunately don't know any members of the Blackout Vanguard Militia.
Okay. All right. I will add that into the Kia and file that off so that they may or may not be. So we know that
Right.
there
When that
was
comes through on the...
some.
Sorry, come.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to say that we know that that seems to be a candidate for the group, which we're not quite sure what was going on. The group that burst in, ripped the doors off. Sounds like that might have been them, but I can't be sure because it's all a bit confused still.
The black... What? No, they're saying that the rumour is the Black Hat Vanguard militia were the people who were fighting against the replicants and were killing replicants.
Okay.
So in the footage,
Yeah,
it seems to be saying that those are the people with the... So in the footage that's been released to the
public, yeah.
on the news channels, that it's the people with masks who are firing automatic weapons.
Okay.
And there's
so they shot Darius and co.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, that was another question I was going to clarify. You mentioned there were 4 people.
Just one sec.
All right. Yep.
When that oh no, who is it? No. Oh. Sorry, apologies. Right. When that comes from the Kia about the Black Hat Vanguard militia, Falk, you've got an A in connections, don't you?
I do, yeah.
You know a former member of the Black Hat Vanguard militia called Vadim Yakov. Who is this guy?
An angry man, if ever I saw one.
Second, sorry?
An angry man, if ever I saw one.
Mm-hmm. So he's a former member of the Blackout Vanguard militia and an anti-replicant political agitator. Former as in he had some convictions. He now maintains he is not an active member. He works as a bouncer at the Snake Pit, which is a...
I will respond on the Kia to Wildner with that information.
Okay.
Well, so we have another body to talk to then.
And sorry, you said...
so I was just going to clarify when we were talking earlier about the 4 people that were with Darius.
Yep.
Part of Darius' political group. I just want to clarify that I didn't identify the right 4 people in my notes. So it's Darius, an unknown N8, Lars and Mikey.
No. The 4 people are Darius, Mikey, and 2 completely unknown faces.
So there's 2 unknowns, okay.
Yeah.
But not the other N8 that was shot.
Not the other N8 that was shot, or the other blood sample you had was from the N9 called Carl.
Yeah, and we have 2 other unknown prints.
Yeah.
On a shotgun and a 9mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 unknowns.
Yeah.
Darius and Lars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
No, Darius and Mikey.
Mikey.
Yep. Sorry, too many NPCs.
Too many names.
Too many names. Sorry.
Lars is the member of the security for Takesh.
Yep.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that at the present moment, is Falk doing anything further, or is he leaving the?
I am going to be doing some more things. I think the first thing that Falk will do is, if there's a bottle in the room that he's in or in one of the drawers, he'll top up his whiskey.
Yep.
Sit there for a moment, takes the photograph of Jonah, who is his key relationship.
Yep.
Out. Has a momentary sort of reverie.
Yep.
Thinking about that and how, his how he's going to find him, basically.
Yep.
Has a momentary thought, goes back onto the CCTV, and I'm going to look for Jonah to see if he's popped up in here at any point recently. I'm also going to look for Prey, Lars, Young, Desai, Anton, and Gabor. I'm not expecting to find any of them there, but I'm going to look to see if at any point they have appeared.
Right, give me a tech check, please.
Sure. Need to use the right mouse. Too many mice. Cool.
Good.
Okay. At no point do they turn up. They don't turn up at any point. None of those.
No,
but a face that you do recognise turns up.
Okay.
This man. The name he goes by is Nombeko Kowalski. Whether that's a real name or not, you don't actually know. He's a major criminal figure, believed to be based in the Retirement Row area of Sector 9 in the commercial district. So he's quite out of his area. He's regarded as what they call a third man, which is essentially an organised crime boss. Almost like a mafia boss, but a third man basically ensures loyalty via payment rather than actual sort of vows of omerta and things like that, or triad gangs and the various other bonds that they have. He's believed to have numerous other criminals working for him. According to rumour, a rival once tried to cut his eyes out, and did cut his eyes out. And though blinded, he managed to choke the man to death and organised in search of replacement eyes before he could be usurped. Supposed to be quite a scary man.
I'll take images of that with the.
Now he comes in, and it's sort of on his own. There does appear to be one man with him, but that man, some sort of security guy. That man stays talking to the bouncers, and Nombeko Kowalski comes walking round the bar, the strip club, looking at various people, and he's really, I mean, he sort of wanders around and checks out everyone's face, and it's quite a disconcerting thing. The way he does it, he stares at people, and it's really would have been very intimidating for anyone in there. And there's a couple of people who start to react a bit, and then other people with them sort of stop them doing anything, because this guy clearly has some kind of reputation that precedes him. And he wanders round, and then doesn't appear to find anyone the person he's looking for, and then leaves. This is not a time when either Mikey, Darius, or any of the other two companions have been here.
No, Rob, that answers the question I did have.
So it's uncertain whether there's any link, but it's certainly a strange person turning up.
Yeah, file that under suspicious. In which case, just a couple of small things, just for the ref. When I use the photograph, I'm using that to recover stress.
Yep.
To try to.
Yep, I assume so.
The other thing is, on my way out, I will go past the barman, whisper in his ear, and basically say, and I show him the photographs of the individuals, Mikey and the other two that we don't know, come back. Do me a favor. There's another Chinyan point in it for you. Save any glasses that they use. Don't touch them if you can get away with it. Put them in the bag and let me know, and I'll collect them.
Give me a manipulation check for that, please. Yeah, he says, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And you're pretty certain he's being honest that he will do it.
No problem. At which point I will swig my drink down, get one more drink, swig that down, and then I'll head home and actually go off shift.
Okay. Right, so you're going off shift. Okay. So Dallas is you're going to go and have a look at the where people seem to be gathering in the north western part of the commercial sector. What's Wildner doing? This would be the start of a new shift, just to be clear.
Yeah, I was thinking of going off shift because I've done 2 shifts already, but I think we've done 2 shifts.
We've done 2 shifts
those,
within
yeah.
game, but there's nothing to say we may have been on a shift already.
Yeah, you'd have probably been on a
Yeah.
shift already. So
Yeah.
I think doing something now is probably pushing the fatigue.
Yeah. No, I think I would. At this point, I think we've got stuff to chase down later, unless Miles makes a point of asking me to join him. I would go off
No,
shift.
I think if everyone is going off shift, then I will go off shift as well.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
think
point
I will.
in...
Okay.
What I will do before I go off shift is when I was walking the streets trying to chat people,
Mhm.
I am folding a little origami animal.
Okay. Is that
Allows
recover
me
your
to
point of stress by any chance?
recover some point of stress, yes.
Now, when you rest and go off shift, does that not recover you stress as well? I'm trying to remember.
Each shift of downtime, you decide what you're going to do, and there's a dice roll on the table based thereon. And I believe there is indeed a point of stress healing.
Now, that is the rules for that.
The rules for that is page 218, 219.
218, right. I have to confess, I have read this once. I have not run it before. Right.
And
okay.
in the earlier in the book, downtime recovery, humans heal 1 point of health per shift downtime. Replicants heal 2. You can recover health and resolve in the same shift.
So you don't recover. You don't recover resolve for downtime.
It says you can recover health and resolve in the same shift, but then it's saying heal 1 health per shift.
There might be a different rule to recover resolve.
Right.
Is that because if you've got a speciality for recovering stress, you can still do that when you're off? You're in a down shift, sort of thing. Downtime.
Oh, could well be.
Post-it notes dancing across the table, wasn't flipping pages. Downtime recovery. Okay, so assuming nothing blocks your recovery, you recover 1 lost point of resolve in a shift of downtime. Humans and replicants alike. So it's in a different location. Downtime means spending a shift resting at your home, hitting a club, getting drunk, or whatever you need to do to rest. So yes, you can recover resolve and health. It's just there are things that might stop you from recovering the stress.
Right. Okay. So Okay. So you're all going to go and do rest and do downtime events. Okay.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Are you all physically going to your homes to rest, or are you going out and doing something that's not in your home setting?
I think I'm going to be going home, which is a cheap rundown hotel, so it's really a bedroom.
Yep.
And then I spend most of the evening, is apart from getting some sleep. After that, he's bumming it around his local area.
Okay. Roll me a d8, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just use the dice roller on the.
Yeah, if I can make the dice roll work. There you go. D8. A 4.
Right. Your key relationship is your brother, isn't it?
Yes.
So you get a vid phone call from your brother.
Is this a pre-recorded or is he actually on world?
No, it's not. He has now. He remind me what he does for a living.
I forgot what I put there.
Doesn't he run the was he run the family?
He was
business?
running the farm, family farm, so to speak, on an off-world colony. He's part of the,
Yeah.
He's this child that stayed behind,
Yeah.
showing the family business.
He has lad. Right. He has come. No, how's this going to work? Right. Sorry, I'm wrong. It's not a live call. He's not on planet. It's a pre-recorded one, and he explains that the farm is struggling, and though he is the last thing he wanted to do was to have to come and ask for your help, but he needs, or the farm needs money to keep it running. So he's asking if you can help financially contribute to the running of the farm.
Okay. Well, given my senior status, there's only a certain amount I can help. I would send him what I can afford, which, given that I only got 2 points in Junior, is probably only 1 point.
Okay. We've not been doing XP and stuff, and that can lead to Chinian. So
okay. I'll assume I send him at least sort of half what I've got.
Between sessions, we need to resolve that. I keep forgetting to do it. Resolve that, and then we'll backtrack, and you can work out how much you sent him. Yep. Okay.
And at reasonable rates,
Yeah.
It's family after all.
Yeah. No, it's guilt money as far as I'm concerned. But
you get friends and family discount.
Right. What does Dallas do? Are you just going home to rest?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you roll me a
I would
D8?
probably grab some cheap takeaway food on my way to the. Yeah.
Yep. Can you give me a D8 check, please? A D8 roll, rather. 2. Right, you have a very strange dream that relates to your key memory. Okay. Now, this downtime shift heals no stress. so you don't regain that stress point. Okay, I think you had a stress point down, weren't you? Was that not you?
No,
No, you weren't. Okay,
no,
so
no. I think I was the only one who
Okay.
didn't.
If I can just briefly interject, I think that's I think that's 3.
oh, that's three. I've read 3.
One and 2 are nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh,
occurs.
sorry. Apologies. I've read 3. Yeah, you're right. Okay, ignore me. I can't read.
The way they've written it, it's a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
you know.
So sorry. Apologies. Ignore that. Nothing out of the ordinary happens. You have a
Oh.
nice, restful night. How
Nothing to
dull
see
and
here.
boring. God, that was going to be interesting then. Right. Okay.
Well, nothing boring. He will just go into the apartment, and it's very sparsely populated. There's no pictures or anything, but it's a huge, like 50,000 pieces puzzle, like half done in the only table in the whole house. And I will just sit there, like eat my takeaway food, like some like Chinese from a cardboard box, and just slowly and patiently like keep doing it.
Okay, that makes sense. How does he do a jigsaw? Is he the sort of person who finds a piece from the picture and then sort of builds out from that, or is he systematically working through
He's
things?
extremely methodic, so he will start in one corner and grow it from there.
Okay.
Right.
And
Okay,
there was
yeah,
me
I thought
thinking
that
he
might
was
be the
gonna
case. Yeah.
There was me thinking he was going to describe a clap-on disco ball.
Right. And what does Falk do?
Having just been to Roxy's, I think, and try to get partially to get the memory out of his head, but also partially to see if he can spot him. I think he's going to go out on the lash to see if he spots Jonah and to generally get a bit wasted.
Okay. Give me, please, a D8 on the street event table then.
Oh, wrong mouse again. Keep doing that. I've got too many mice. That's what I want. Oh, God.
Right. You are confronted by an animated advertisement that you find utterly enthralling. You must make an insight roll. So give me an insight check, please.
God. No!
Do you wish to push that?
I will suck it up. I'll take it on the chin.
Right. If failed, you cannot recover stress until you pay 1 Chinian point to purchase the product advertised.
I buy the product.
Okay.
I
What is it? What is it you've been? What is the advert for?
A massive inflatable cigar that lights up.
Okay. Okay. Right. So please knock off 1 Chinian point.
I've already done that.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right. And then early the next morning. It is now the 18th of October, 2037. And you're up bright and early. What do you wish to do with your further investigations?
I think first point is to collaborate with everyone and decide which threads we want to pull on.
Okay. The Kia allows a conference call, or you can physically meet up if you wish. I'm going to say for the moment, for simplicity, that Barimen is off doing something else temporarily for Lieutenant Sawyer, your superior.
No worries.
Okay. What do you wish to do?
I'm going to see my startup conference call.
Okay.
Whilst I'm sat at the noodle bar having breakfast.
Noodles for breakfast.
In the vein.
Breakfast noodles. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, just sort of ticking off what we've found so far. And I think the one sort of major one that's standing out is the location where the fleeing skimmer went to, and particularly as it coincides with Jung, wasn't it?
Sorry, there's one piece of information I forgot to say to Dallas. You'll have also checked the license plate on that skimmer van, and it's false. Sorry, it's not right. What it will be
Doesn't match.
It will be a license plate that as you work it through the system, it turns up, it gets read correctly by automated cameras and stuff like that. But you, with your knowledge and the tech roll you made, will realise that it's a false plate that someone has inserted into the system. Sorry, just to clarify that.
Yeah. Unsurprising, on the other hand. Okay. So yeah, we'll jump into the call with my colleagues. So we seem to have like the destination that's Young and the guys who defended Anton or tried to rescue him. That's where they went. We've got the Size residence that we could just pay her a visit and ask some questions. And do we have any other locations? We had another one. I thought we had. What was the third one?
Well, we need to interview Avril Desai, Prey, Takahashi, Vadim Yakov. You were looking into the Blackout Militia.
So Blackout Vanguard.
Yeah, and Lars Avant, I think, is possibly worth speaking to, although we may need to leave him till later and we've got more.
Yeah, my concern is that where the van went is probably more timely, because if there's any evidence, it could be gone by the time we get there.
It will be disappearing quickly. Yes.
Yeah.
The bug that was planted on Ariana Zhong is still in that location.
Ooh. Let's go while we can then.
Either means she's found it or she's still there.
Yeah.
Just to add one other thing that you were puzzling over, which just I think you may have forgotten it as players, so I'm just going to remind. This is not a prompt. This is just adding more things back in. So you had Dallas had worked out that the bugs and the earphone fan in Anton's room had a shortish range, and you reckon it was probably something from one of the two other towers.
Yes.
Or possibly the tower the Markover Ballroom is at the top of. So you had talked about trying to find out where he was potentially being recorded and transmitted to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we have 1 point, so it's hard to. I guess I can have a radius, but
unless it's two-way, then there's not going to be much in the way of things you can triangulate.
We have both ways, right? We have the receiver and the transmitters, but they're both short range.
Nothing was being sent to the receiver, though, was it? So
no.
So unless we can catch them talking or trying to use it, we won't be able to triangulate it.
Yeah.
By the way, the news is now reporting on the news feeds. It is reporting trouble at the Markover Ballroom. In that one of their dancers was murdered in in this anti-replicant attack, and they have pieced together what information they have, and they have decided that this caused another dancer, another replicant called who's Gabor, to flip out and attack someone and then flee. So they are linking those two events, and they're saying that Gabor reacted like she did as a result of finding out that Anton had been killed. But to the best of your knowledge, you know that she flipped out prior to any positive identification of Anton.
That information wasn't necessarily out by then.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well,
so,
I think we should hit.
Are we all going to go to that location, or do you want to go one way and I go with 2 and A to the location?
I think at least 2 of us need to go there because we know they're armed individuals. We don't know how many there were, but
yeah, we don't want the property being damaged whilst it's doing its job, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want the property damage either.
Sorry.
So yeah, but you've got something else you want to follow up on for Falk, is that right?
I've got a few things that we need to deal with. Also, we need to find that disc. But I mean, it's entirely up to you how you want to handle it. Do you want to go with 2 and A, or do you want to go do something else? Because there's Vadim Yakov, who needs to be spoken to.
Right, Yakov. What you know about Yakov is where he works. Where he works is a bar that will be open from about lunchtime onwards. It's not open at the present moment. Just to feed that in.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay. And that's someone that you have a contact with.
I'm aware of. I've had dealings with.
Yeah.
You probably arrested him once.
So we can either go with your
kind of
contact.
agree with him.
Yeah.
Well, arguably, then maybe you've let him off. You've got him off. I mean, it would be perfectly fitting with.
You might catch him off guard. Yeah.
With Falk that you've actually let him off. You've got him off off something he did. It would be something minor, but he might have got him off something at some point.
Yeah.
But you might be to get him on his good side as opposed to I will come in as a cop.
Well, are you trying to say something, Bob?
Nothing.
Sorry, just to say, here's some information on the Blackout Vanguard militia. Between you can make a connections check to know more. I'm assuming Falk will lead that and someone will assist it.
Yeah, I'll try and assist.
Okay, so can I have a connections check with advantage, please, from Falk? So did that pop up, by the way, that note about the blackout Vanguard?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are joking me. Okay, I'm pushing. And I will do. Just trying to figure out that's the one.
Yeah. That's a bit better.
A bit better, yeah.
2. So, right, you get a bit of extra information. So the Blackout Vanguard militia began as a right-wing paramilitary organisation created to protect law-abiding citizens in LA in the immediate aftermath of the blackout event. It started on a fragmented basis with a series of allied companies around the city and no central control. Fairly quickly, the BVM took an anti-replicant stance and was involved in hunting down and terminating replicants. As the rule of law returned to LA, the BVM shrunk in numbers, becoming more fanatical in their anti-replicant beliefs and morphing into a hate group. They were designated a proscribed organisation in 2030 by the UN, which prompted further declines in their membership numbers. And incidents attributed to the BVM were almost negligible by 2034. But with the 2 successes you also know, with the introduction of the Nexus 9 replicants in 2036, the BVM saw a resurgence in activities. Membership grew substantially as anti-replicant sentiment grew in certain sectors of society, both previous members returning to the organisation and new recruits. There are now frequent attacks on replicants attributed to the BVM, though some of those are likely to be incorrectly labelled as the BVM. Okay.
They're not get bad guys.
So that explains why you know them.
But they are just very clear. They are a proscribed organisation. Yeah. They're effectively terrorists. According to the UN. According to Falk, they have a different point of view. But right, sorry.
Okay.
That piece of information.
Okay.
Are we all going to meet up at that location then?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay.
So I will get into my skimmer and head that way, but I will be on the communication to dispatch requesting an APB to be put out on Gabor, if
Okay.
it hasn't already.
I don't think you'd put one out on Gabor previously. I don't remember. Okay. Right. Is that just a general APB, or are you giving them any particular lines to pay attention to try and guide that?
Basically, skin job dancer, assault on a human, gone in the wind, basically find her.
Okay.
Description.
Okay. Okay. Right. We'll come back to that one then. Okay. Is anyone else doing anything else before you get to where this where the signal tracker is still signaling from?
No, I think get there early.
Okay.
Is my intent.
It's probably something like 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. By the time you get there, so it's a short distance. And the three of you meet up, and you've landed probably a couple of blocks away. Sorry, I'm assuming you're landing a couple of blocks away, and they're going to approach you on foot. Is that correct?
That probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So, question: do you guys want to go in and have me stay with the skimmer? So if you come into heavy problems, I can come in with the skimmer and use the underslung to help you out, or do you want in-person assistance?
You don't know what we're facing, so I would have thought backup is useful, but probably, I guess, if they attempt to flee, if they take the van, we want someone to chase it. So yeah, I think if you stay with the skimmer.
I keep calling them skimmers. They're spinners. They're not. I keep saying that's me. I started that. I start calling them skimmers.
Yeah.
Skimmers.
Yeah, it's spinners. It's spinners.
The spinners. Is it?
Spinners. Yeah, I've been saying. I knew it was bugging me. I was saying something wrong. I said it because
Falk is a nickname. It can be a nickname.
Yep. So,
someone calls them skimmers. So I'll park mine as far out as I feel I need to, but hopefully within line of sight, so I can at the very least have some kind of imagery. Does my spinner have the drone that Kay does in the second movie?
Not sure when that was introduced. Doesn't.
That's the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible that not every Blade Runner has the same exact same thing.
This is the spinner on page 199, isn't it?
Just going to that page, I believe. Yep, that's the one.
Or is it? Or is it the model or the? Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So the stats for it on page 197, but these 198 and 199 are just more fluff details.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not seeing it.
Number 8 that's a tactical artillery mount.
It doesn't look like it does. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Detective special amenities, biolock, omnivision, optional tactical abilities. Yeah, I don't. I'm going to presume I don't then. In that case.
And just possibly. The only sort of mention of anything is the Esper camera.
Yeah, and I think that's in the front.
Yeah.
Right now, Okay. Give me a connections check to have the tactical artillery mount that's optional installed. Yeah. Okay. Falk has one with the twin 50 caliber machine guns fitted. Bear in mind these are each of these. They do look slightly different. They're a fairly sort of standard basic design, but then there are almost sort of modifications just because the idea is they look plain clothes as such. It's equivalent of a plainclothes car. Right, okay. Sorry. So you fly up to the...
Which shift are we on? I just realized that the character sheets will track the shifts for us and the downtime and everything.
Right.
Yes, I didn't. I would.
There's a shift lock thing.
I didn't dare pressing the buttons.
Yeah.
It did something weird.
I did.
Right. So this is you're now on the morning shift.
Okay, so we're morning.
Yep.
Okay.
And you have rested, so it is right. Okay. So Falk is hanging back while the other two of you approach, yeah? Correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So as you had seen from the maps and ESPA cameras and so on around this area, though you are ground level, it's not a sort of street area around here. It's a bit more of a commercial area, and what there are is there's a park, and then they're on one side of the park. And I say park; it's not really being it's not a nice green area you can walk in anymore. It's a bit of a
derelict land.
Yes. But what you can see is a number of there's a number of smallish warehouses clearly available for you can see signs advertising them for rent, and according to where the exactly where the vehicle went, you know, it landed somewhere around here. The camera's lost it just as it was sort of getting right down to ground level. But according to the bug that was placed on Ariana, it should be in one of these small rental warehouses.
Okay.
Let's approach.
Yeah. Start doing a scout around. If I assume we're not 100% sure which one of this sort of small group.
You can see, right. There's 6 of them in 2 lines of 3,
mm-hmm.
and as such, it's the middle on the right.
Okay.
According to but they're all a butt up against each other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they've got rear entrances, but if someone's going to the rear, they're going to be quite at a distance from someone going to the front.
Hmm. Okay, no alleyways between them.
No.
Right. I guess the first thing is just to sort of walk past, see if we can see anything obvious, signs of activity.
Give me you can each do me an are you both walking past? Sorry.
Yes.
Give me observation checks, each of you, then, please.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with that, or do you wish to push it?
I will push the 5.
I'm going to push my 5 as well. Push my D8. Bit of a long shot.
You did something.
So both managed to push the button at the same time, and it went horribly wrong.
Man, do you think that's what happened? Okay.
So sorry. So Dallas has got 2 successes.
I got another
You've
success.
got 3
I got three,
successes.
Yeah.
And Wildner, are you pushing that? Sorry.
I was trying to push it. I think it changed just as I was clicking
Oh,
to
because
click
2
through
players
the
were
things.
pressing at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me try pushing my observation. And I'm going for the D8, which was a 5. Yeah, it's now 4. So there you go. I just gave
Got
up.
1. Right. So you don't spot this, but Dallas does. And with 3 successes, that's quite successful. Set up right outside. Sorry. On the sort of, there's a sort of lip to the roof above the entrance of the warehouse, and there is a remote camera set up there. And as you're walking past, it turns, spots you, and then tracks you as you walk past. So Dallas reckons that is very active following of the. Someone is very. It must be someone actively following and directing the camera.
I will discreetly, suggest that we just, don't lift your eyes. Just look down.
Just walk on. Don't act to let me know.
Yeah. Just don't look at the camera and give them like a, because they've seen us, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk to.
How are you two dressed?
What I usually wear, I think. I don't think we were expecting to go incognito, but so it would be the usual,
Suit with
just street clothes.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Just street clothes.
Okay. Okay. I've just realised what time is, unfortunately, and I need to stop there.
Oh.
Apologies. But this is actually probably quite a good
cliffhanger. It's a good point.
It's a good point.
We've been made.
Yes.
Yeah.
The camera.
Because also this gives a chance for Barimen to arrive to join in as well. Okay, so I'm afraid I'm going to leave it there. So so thank you everyone for watching. There'll be another episode, hopefully fairly soon. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm certainly enjoying running it, and I hope you guys enjoyed playing it. And
that was fun.
we will. There'll be another episode soon. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.